I drive my car up to the lake as if there's someone to awake. I haven't been to bed for days, I live in a twilight haze. And I set my heart to the setting sun, and I hope that no one else has done it. And the drinks are never far, open up the bar. I miss you every single day. I wait until I know your way. I hate the way I'm straying into the days.
Okay, Dan, let's begin the podcast. Now, Daniel, you work next door at the electric bike shop, although now you're kind of asked to come on the podcast because one of the interesting things about you is that you are someone that attends a meditation centre in town, and it's called the Sevalight Centre.
Yep.
And so tell us a little bit about it, and just start off telling us a little bit about it.
Okay, cool. So its full length name is called the Self Realization Sevalight Centre for Pure Meditation, Healing and Counselling.
Right.
So the centre has been sort of brought into being, is there for people to be able to take part in these therapies, and to learn pure meditation, which is one of the, from my experience, one of the deepest meditations that is available around the world. So the centre is basically there for anyone that needs any help with counselling, healing, pure spiritual healing, which I'll explain a little bit what about that later well. It's called intuitive counselling, and pure meditation. It's a meditation practice. So the centre has been brought into being to help with those things, and then we so they're there to help with people on any level, whatever they need. And then the pure meditation course helps you to give you tools and techniques to help you, obviously for meditation, but then there's also things that are taught throughout the course, which are tools and techniques that help people to go through and to get through whatever the hardship that it is that they're trying to get through at that time.
Move beyond or something.
So there's those tools that are taught in the pure meditation course, but there's also other tools that are taught when you're receiving counselling or healing and things as well. The healers and counsellors can teach you these tools that help with your energy care and help you to look after yourself throughout the day. Yeah.
So going back to the foundation, how would you, of all of the pigeonholes that exist, how would you what box would you pop it in? Is it a religion? Is it a, what are we talking about? Is it a sort of, because when you were going to come on and stuff and we made the appointment, we cancelled about 3 or 4 times because of COVID, and then we stuffed around and it was a miracle I survived, and then we're back again, and I sort of looked into Eastern religion, and there's a couple of main branches, and meditation and stuff like that. It seems to be quite, they often tied back to Hinduism or Buddhism. What would this one be tied back to?
So the lady who set up the centre, her name is called Maitri Yogananda Mahasaya Dharma. So those are spiritual names that have been given to her. So she had a guru, so it's a guru is a spiritual teacher or a guide, someone that helps you when you go onto the spiritual path, helps you to get around the boulders and things that are coming up for you, like your ego and your negativity and these things like that when you're on the spiritual path. So she had her guru who was an Indian guy, so the teachings are sort of in that vein of ancient Indian style, and the pure meditation is actually Kriya and Raja Yoga, so that is a deep yogic sort of
school of thought or
practice.
And
so it has those there from that, but it also takes all from like other religions and things as well. So it's all about the centre is all about unconditional love, basically,
right?
And like learning how to live in an unconditionally loving way in anything that you're doing, and it's just about. So it takes all the best from like all of the religions, and it's just sort of tries to avoid the dogma from any of those religions, and tries to take the truth. The greatest sort of unconditionally loving truth from those and go forward. So it encompasses all religions, but it's not like one religion. So
no.
It's like
pluralistic
spirituality.
Yep. Like, pluralistic in some kind of form. That's interesting because, I look at... so did you kind of like shop around before you got into this? Like, how did you get into it? Did you go to the Hare Krishnas? And... because that's sort of also a Hindu-based kind of thing.
Yep.
And then there's Shri Shamoy or something or other.
Oh, yeah, Tree Shamoy. Yeah, I can't remember how to pronounce his name.
Yeah,
here's the lotus heart, the people...
Yep, and they're into jogging, running for peace.
Yep.
Yeah.
Tree Shamoy.
Tree Shamoy, yeah. So.
And, there's a whole kind of bunch of them. I'm a Christian, which, we have 1,000,001 denominations as well, and it's probably not easy for someone to go, why on earth are you a Baptist or a Protestant or this, that, or the other, or whatever they all are. I sort of am non-denominational. That's how I get around it. So are you kind of, is it sort of a non-denominational kind of thing?
Yeah, anyone from any religion can go to the centre and learn the techniques that are at the centre, and then they can still apply them to their own religion, and that will even help them to go further in that. Yeah. Well, I believe that anyway.
Yeah.
So they're like, it's just sort of about trying to find yourself. So the ultimate quest, or like the ultimate reason that you would go there, is because obviously you're having some issue or something. So you go for counselling or healing. Then maybe you learn the pure meditation technique because you're interested in going deeper or further into looking at yourself. Yeah. So a lot of the reason for the pure meditation is to give yourself a platform where you can become really peaceful and really still. And then another process after that is like that you're looking at yourself, so you're trying to become a better person. So you meditate and then you're really peaceful, and you can sort of pick up on things that you might need to change within yourself. And these therapies like the counselling and the healing, they help with that as well. They just help to show you a bit more about what's happening for yourself. They show you that, and then you sort of have the opportunities to say like, okay, I like this part of myself, I'm going to continue living with that and integrate that. And then also like, these negative habits are causing me a bit of destruction in my life, or like impacting me in the ways that I don't want them to. So then these tools and the platforms that you've learned from going to the centre help to sort of push you and elevate you beyond those negative habits or bad habits and things.
So it's a little bit structured, obviously. Like there is certainly, but it's not hardcore rules. Or are there? What rules? If there were any rules, what would they be? Like, kind of.
I suppose that. Well, I lived at the centre for a while. So I lived there for probably 7 or 8 months, and then I went away for a few months, and then I went back for another 7 or 8 month stint. So there's not rules per se. It's more sort of like respecting the centre and like respecting the people that live there, because there's 2 couples that actually live as volunteers at the centre, and they run the centre. So it's all about like just becoming a part of the society, like the community that they set up. So like there's like all the guidelines that you follow. Like there's guidelines, and there's like if someone wanted to go and stay at the centre, they'll send you something, and it will be like, this is the practices that we follow. Can you like do your best to sort of avoid that? Like, they don't want people being on their cell phones all the time and stuff, because it's more about like getting away from technology a bit more and those sorts of things. So.
And are there kind of like So how do you, like, what's the reason you've got a guru? Is that what she was called? Is that how you would define her, or a teacher?
Yep.
And do you have to kind of pledge allegiance to her, or do you kind of, how much is there an expectation that you will kind of adhere to her teachings?
There's no expectations.
No.
No. You don't have to do anything.
So what would happen if you turned up one day with a crystal or something, which perhaps isn't mainstream? You don't normally have crystals, but you bring a crystal along or something like that.
I don't see if there's another. Bringing a crystal would be fine.
Okay.
Anyone can bring a crystal. I know that. You're just trying to sort of understand more about what the
just
like,
the kind of the structure and stuff. I suppose coming from a Christian point of view, there's definite do's and don'ts and this, that and the other, and there's this supreme ultimate being, and it's kind of quite, there's God, here am I, this is my problem, this is the objective and stuff. So your objective is self-realization. Is it kind of a spiritual in the sense that in the next life, or sort of flesh out some of those details for me? Because once you've sort of spent some time at the centre and you move through your life and you come to the end of it, what happens then? Is it sort of help with those things as well? Does it sort of deal with those subjects, or is it dealing with different subjects altogether?
Yeah, so in the pure meditation course, they would go into lots of different lots of deep spiritual, what do you call it? Well,
they're kind of questions that mankind have been wrestling with over years or something.
So spiritual philosophy. Yeah. That's the word I was looking for.
Oh,
So going deep into those subjects, during the pure meditation course. So, if people are interested in those things, then it's best for someone to go to a pure meditation teacher or talk to a pure meditation teacher about that, because that's their job. So they can give you a better idea of what you're going to be talking about throughout the course, and tell you a bit more about it, and sort of get you sorted.
So for you, what has it done for you, personally, on a personal level? You kind of mentioned that you might have gone there with a particular issue, or you're wanting to improve in different areas of your life or find peace or something. What have you gotten out of it?
So much. So when I was younger, when I was 25, I went to Asia, because I was sort of fed up of doing what work I was doing here in Christchurch, and wanted to get away and find a few more different things. So when I was away, this goes back to your question earlier that I didn't really answer about how did I find the centre. So I went away, and then I was in Bali, and I did a bit of yoga. I stayed for a week in Ubud. I did a few classes of yoga there, and then I just could feel the peace and the energy shift within myself from doing that. Then I bought a book about yoga and stuff, and was reading through that, and sort of got more deeper into it. I came back to Christchurch after 6 months. I was doing a little bit of my own practice a few years before that, just meditating through apps and things like that. Just trying to find what was useful for me, and just winging it basically myself as well. And I came back, and then my parents, they were going to the centre for yoga, because they do yoga at the centre as well. So I joined them for a few classes, and then I just really enjoyed it, and really liked the feel that I got, because from the yoga that they do at the centre, it's just really slow and really peaceful. And I just thought, oh wow, this is just so nice. It has a nice relaxing time at the beginning and at the end as well. So you can just go there after your busy day, lie down, relax, do a few asanas. That's the name for the moves of yoga, and then relax again at the end, and then you can stay for meditation afterwards as well. So that was my foot in the door with the centre. And then another thing that the centre does is, because they're volunteers, and it's run by the 4 people that live there, and then the wider community of volunteers that go to the centre, I started doing some volunteer work there as well. Just on a Saturday every now and then they have a seether bee, a working bee, or something like that, or just any time anyone is available, they can go to the centre and help out. So if anyone is interested in going to the centre that's listening to this, they can find out where it is and go do that as well.
So the word Seva itself, Daniel, could you explain what that means?
So I was just thinking that as well, actually. So Seva is like it's working for God, I think it is, or working. So Seva light is like working in the light of God. So Seva light. So Self Realization Sevalight Centre is like you're working in the light of God to become self-realized. So that would be sort of like a slight translation of like what the real like the name of the centre would be. And self-realization was just like knowing yourself, who you truly are, like through and through, and like becoming master of your mind, and your life, basically.
And generally speaking, when you talk about energy, that's like this universal kind of energy which exists, which presumably is that God? That is God?
I think. I don't know. That's
and then I think a lot of Hindu people kind of think they're connected to that and they're a part of that, so therefore they're kind of God as well. And is it sort of a process of kind of perhaps brushing away the sort of the material and different things that can get in the way of that, and sort of like what was it, self-realization? So you're kind of seeing yourself, who you are, on a universal spiritual kind of like perspective.
It's just like you said about energy. So sort of understanding that everything is energy. Like it's all of the world and everything is energy. And we have our own energy. So it's like about sort of purifying your energy, I guess, in a way. Not in like a puristic way, but in a like peeling away the onion skins of your ego to like reveal your true identity within yourself. Removing like your preconditioned everything that you've learned in this sort of lifetime, I guess, like your habits and all that stuff, but then going back to your deeper self, your true inner self, and like allowing that to lead you forward instead of your habits leading you forward. So
what experiences have you what have you experienced on that journey? Like when you say you first had that kind of experience in Bali doing yoga, and you felt energy within you, or stir or something or other, what is that feeling? Is that kind of like is that almost like because that's to do with, because I think from what I understand that goes back to the chakras and maybe a kundalini kind of thing or something. Is that correct? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to nail it down a little bit.
That is, but I mean, you're definitely on that's right. Like
because yoga is something to do with is it making sure all of those are unblocked, and then your third eye is the top one, and you've got this intuitive kind of thing going on.
I guess that's one of the main, one of the end goals, but it's all about the process.
Right, it's not about the destination, perhaps. More the journey.
You want, of course, you always want to get to your destination, but the journey is the main part. Like I talked to Mady Yogananda, the lady who set up the thing, and she said to me
I didn't realise
don't
she was
worry.
Alive.
Oh, she passed away in 2020, I think it was.
Oh, did she? Right.
Enjoy the journey, she said to me. So I sometimes myself get too caught up in I need to get here, the bigger picture. But
I think we all do.
We want to take a breath and step back and be more in the present moment, and then being more in the all these tools and techniques I'm telling you about. They bring you into the present moment. And then that's where, when you're actually in the present moment and you're making conscious choices, then that's where your changing of your habits and of your life really starts.
I love the self-responsibility aspect of it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's very cool. Where it's man, I'm full of negative thinking or whatever, and I need to do something about this, and finding a way to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
Rather than just doing nothing and moping around and blaming everyone else. So it's real cool, man. And that transcendental nature of it, transcending our messed up psyche or whatever. That crosses over into neuroscience, and in our body-brain connection, all that sort of thing. So it sort of spreads out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Into like a lot of people are dealing with stuff like this, in like cold water therapy and all sorts of things.
That's right. There's a move, I don't know if you know about it, but and it's been happening for a long time. It's probably always been happening, but there's like your hardcore kind of fundamental kind of religions and stuff like that, and then there's scientists and academics that see benefit in some of these things, like meditation.
Yeah.
And there's a guy who was on Joe Rogan the other day, Andrew Huberman, and he's a doctor of neuroscience or something, and he's talking about all these different performance kind of enhancing practices that he does, from eating organic, healthy, green food through to, and he's sort of taken meditation and he's kind of stripped it of its religious properties because he's a scientist. He doesn't care about that. And I say that quite freely, but maybe he does. And he's called it now non-sleep deep something or other. There's another word, non-sleep deep something or other, where he kind of goes into this meditative state, and it's kind of like having a 12-hour sleep. And he goes into it using some of the techniques like chanting or something like that, or repeating something, and he sees it from a purely scientific point of view, which is interesting, I find. Would that be kind of offensive to someone that follows like a guru more closely and sort of sees the benefit in that?
No, I don't think so. Not at all.
No?
I think science and spirituality are becoming closer and closer together. I think they always have been.
Yeah.
I think like when you look at, like you're saying, neuroscience, and then also when you look at, so like I don't want to talk about it because I don't really know much about it, but just like quantum physics and stuff, and things like this.
Yep.
There's particles. Yes, fluctuating as waves, and waves fluctuating as particles.
There's only a few people who understand that stuff.
No, that's one of the things when I was researching this was the Deepak Chopra.
Yeah.
He gets into a lot of trouble. Well, I say he gets into a lot of trouble. I don't really know much about the guy either, but he throws in a lot of words, scientific kind of quantum words, and I think some scientists get a bit grumpy with him doing that. They're like, mate, you can't blend those two things together. But obviously you can if you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the main benefits from meditation are like along the neuroscience path. Like, they really just help you to calm your mind.
Yeah.
Then we can see that we're not actually like associated so much with all the thoughts that we think that we are. Like, I think a lot of people are caught up in their minds thinking like, this is who I am because this is like my thought pattern. But if you can separate yourself from that, then you can actually find some space within yourself. And that's like the main thing the thing that I learned earlier on was that like, if I could find that space in between my thoughts, then I can actually have a bit of peace here. And then like the more that I've practiced it and the more that I've done it, like the better I am at like finding that space. So everything, I mean, we know everything comes down to like how many times you do it and how much practice you have at it. So whatever you want in life, like if I want to be like a really good meditator, then I have to put the hours into doing that. So it's just about that. It's just about that. And, I talk to a lot of people saying like, oh, maybe healing would really help you, or counselling could really help you. But some people are just not ready to like go to that next step.
True. Yeah. So the healing involved could be emotional. Is it ever kind of like physical or
Yeah, I'll explain So pure spiritual healing is like a therapy whereby like pure unconditional love and light energy comes through the healer and into the patient. Right. So what happens is at the start of a healing, you'll have a consultation with the patient. You just sort of figure out what's happening for them. You might teach them a couple of the energy care techniques that I mentioned. And then what happens is that they'll lay on like a table. Yeah. So then there's on-body and off-body healing moves that you do. Oh. So your hands might be like above the body, or lightly touching the body in some areas. Obviously not in any private areas at all. any sensitive areas.
No.
So that happens, and then the healing energy is always being transferred through the healer and into the patient, and then they move to a stool, and then you can do healing moves on their back, and then and then so that's like how you give a healing basically.
So that sounds very similar to something called Reiki or Reiki.
I don't really know much about Reiki, so it's hard for me to compare them. But the only thing I know about Reiki is that it's quite quick and easy to like be able to become a Reiki healer. But with the pure spiritual healing that we do, it's like over 2 years, and it's like 6 weeks or something modules, and then like training in between that and stuff as well. So it goes a bit deeper, but Reiki's still really good. I've never had Reiki healing, but I'm sure it's pretty reasonably similar. And
do people are there cases where they're sort of documented, like physical? Because I mean, look, it's not just in this realm, but I mean, obviously you've got there's a large part of the Christian church which is sort of into, what do they call them, miraculous healings or something like this, or faith healings, where they sort of claim certain things to have happened. Are there sort of people documenting their experiences, or their, Philip, I had, I don't know, cancer. Or a sore thumb.
So you mean like a sort of like a study, or like a case study on it in a way?
Yeah. Have you come across people like that? I mean, that's the obvious question, right?
I haven't personally, but I think like the first time I had a healing, I was kind of like, well, this is really peaceful. Like, because most people experience it just as like a really peaceful energy, really calming, and then they just feel sort of like really mellow afterwards.
Oh yeah.
So it gives you a chance to like just catch up. It's like if people have been overworking themselves and then they have a healing, you'll probably just be like, get a boost of energy, or be told that you need, like, you'll feel tired, so you need to relax and let the healing energy soak in. So where was I going with that? What was the original question? Oh, the case study.
So
the case study for myself, I guess basically it was just like having healings and seeing what they've done. When I was staying at the centre, I had like a healing every week, and throughout that time, I made so much progress.
Right, and you were kind of consciously aware that a particular issue had resolved or something or other.
Yeah, because,
and then you could, like you were clearly able to identify and then
but it's not sort of like ticking off boxes, like I've done this, like I've got rid of this, it's because it's always like linear, coming backwards to test you a bit more, and like coming back, if you say you're addicted to something, and then like a year down the line something might happen, and then it might trigger something again, so that's sort of like a test in a way, I guess, to like but with the healing, I guess it's sort of more like it's a good way for you to look at yourself as well, so you can sort and sift things, because it settles you. So with that, I guess it's sort of almost like, you might not notice a change automatically, but over time, periodically, you'll sort of see a difference in yourself.
So it comes in kind of many shapes and forms.
Yeah. It's not like just bang, you've done this. It's sort of more like a process of letting go process, I guess.
Yeah.
So I could just see that over time that I was changing. Like internally, like the way that I thought, or the way that I see the world was slowly changing. But that is because I was meditating every night, every morning, and having healings, and living in a spiritual centre in that environment. So that all helps to like push you further.
And that's something like at the moment you'd sort of, because you've got a regular day job and you can follow a career. You're not kind of it's not too kind of monastic in that sense. Do you do retreats or?
I haven't done for a while, but they have the centre holds retreats. The pure meditation course itself is like a 5-day retreat course. So if people are interested in the pure meditation course, that's what it is. It's like a 5-day course where you're in the silence when you're out of the course, and then you're talking about spiritual things when you're in the course. And it's very personalised, so it's only like 2 or 3 people maybe in the group, 4, maybe 5 at the most. Sort of thing, depending on who's interested in doing it.
So you sort of feel like, do you envisage yourself in the future to sort of move on to something else, or you'll just sort of stick around? You've kind of found what you're looking for, like what you're searching for, or
yeah, I think so. And now it's a process. Now it's the process of like really incorporating that into your lifestyle.
Yeah,
and then living that lifestyle that you feel is correct for yourself. I feel like I might end up living at a centre again, being like a volunteer who lives there, to go doing counselling and healings, because I'm training to be a healer and a counsellor. So that's a possibility that might happen in the future. Or another thing I was thinking was to set up my own therapy, like
centre or something.
And do that. So. I think.
Would you have to, like, some of my questions are going to be a bit stupid, but would you have to go to India and hang out with anyone and then come back and sort of have kind of permission to do that, or would you just be like,
Well, the centre is like a professional body, so they're able to give us these...
franchise? Kind of.
There is actually there are actually centres around the world as well.
Yeah.
So there's a few around the world.
Yeah.
So there's like a worldwide family and a community basically. So that's why I was thinking I could maybe move overseas as well somewhere.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the centre teaches the healing and the counselling, so more people can become healers and counsellors, and I think that's like the reason. When I first was getting into all this stuff, I was asking myself, like, why am I here? Like, what am I doing on this? What is life? Like, why am I here in this lifetime? What am I doing with myself? Why am I actually here? And then I sort of just, became more and more open to all these other different options and ideas and different things. The centre is like what's here for me, basically, and I feel that it's my job. Or it's what I'm here to do in this lifetime. Yeah, is to be a counsellor and a healer. Yeah, and to help other people to sort of be able to have the chances of feeling the amazing amount of peace and love internally that's available for all of us. Yeah.
So generally speaking, it's quite interesting. As a Christian, it's on an opposite kind of spectrum, but it's nice to hear you kind of talk about it and to get more understanding about it. Funnily enough, this is a little bit of a side issue, but when I had COVID, I watched Star Wars for the first time, which...
for the first time.
I know, 45 years old, watched Star Wars for the first time. And there was a lot of that kind of energy stuff going on there, and I think the guy, George Lucas, or someone...
Oh, the Force.
He was kind of into that. I think he borrowed it from...
Joseph Campbell, Joseph Campbell, the hero's journey and all that, the archetypes.
Oh, right. Yeah,
because Joseph Campbell was very much into mythology and...
Who's Joseph Campbell? The original writer, was he?
He's a mythologist.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and he was working with George Lucas.
You were into Star Wars?
Yeah, I thought that they sort of hung out.
Yeah.
And they worked together, and like George... knew Joseph would be awesome in helping him out with his characters and so forth, right?
Oh, right.
Because there's a really good... The hero's journey, is that
correct?
Yeah. And the face of a thousand...
the
hero of a thousand
faces.
Yeah, there's a great book for that mythology. And Star Wars is like the journey of the hero. The first original Star Wars is a classic mythology.
Luke's the hero, and
But Hindu mythology, or where are we?
Just all mythology.
Oh, yeah,
like personal mythology.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
So like the hero journey always, the journey of a hero always has like certain aspects of things that you go through. So like he meets his teacher, he gets a weapon, he fights like the evil that's like trying to. So they're all like lots of these things have. Lots of mythology follow the same sort of pattern.
I see.
He always leaves the family and is often a black sheep or she.
Yeah.
So like But in Joseph Campbell's book, he also talks about the internal hero's journey as well, and that like really aligns with what the Self Realization Sevalight Centre does. Is like helps you to connect with your inner hero, like your inner hero, or like your inner person, the person that's like your conscience or your intuition. These things are like what really help you to like step onto that hero's journey and not be afraid to go forward and become like the person that you can become, because we all have so much potential within us.
So the intuition becomes like a guiding light.
So instead of like always going with your mind and like going with what you think is right or like logical, go with your if you go with your intuition, it will be like what you need. Like your intuition knows what you need, because it's from the teachings at the Self Realization Centre. It's like your intuition is like the voice of the universe, basically, or like voice of God. It's like takes into consideration and into account everything that's happening, like with everybody around you and with yourself. So if you're always following your intuition, then it should always be the best outcome for everybody involved.
I see.
But it's easier said than done.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
And it's subtle, right?
Yeah.
Pretty subtle.
Yeah. Incredibly, like, very just like, it's like your conscience, if you do something, if you do something that you really shouldn't be doing, but you do it anyway. It's just sort of like that, and it's just sort of like the more that you use it, the stronger that it becomes within you, and the more that you throw it away, you bury it under other things. So the techniques and the pure meditation really helps you to get into contact with your intuition.
Yeah, that stuff's... I mean, I just had a flashback of a scene from Labyrinth, where it's like this old woman in a garbage dump, and there's just all these artifacts, psychological artifacts. You could digging around and trying to find a way, and she's just probably miserable and bitter, but it's like maybe deep down in there somewhere is that little bit of the intuition that she needs to find, or maybe the Pandora's box, the moth or whatever. So I guess according to tradition, it's always in there somewhere if you can just sort through all the garbage. But obviously the garbage is pretty terrible to deal with. It can literally kill you.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's true.
Weigh you down and crush you. Yeah. So, that's interesting. Yeah, the old Star Wars thing, I certainly noticed it. And it also, pop culture kind of collided with Eastern religion in the 60s and stuff, with, the Beatles and stuff like that. And it kind of got taken over to the West. And since then, there seems to have been an explosion of its influence from those colouring in books where there's the mandalas and like people colouring them in, and it's almost find a meditational technique. And then there's mindfulness, and it has kind of got almost into a state level where it's being encouraged from the educational, the Ministry of Education and stuff like that. How do you feel about that? Like, do you think it's all good and we're moving in the right direction? Like,
definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see lots of positives from everything that's been going on around the world recently.
Really? Positive things?
Yeah.
Not many people would say that, Dan. Most people would say there's a war in Ukraine and Russia, and the inflation is at a sky high.
Yeah.
There's not much good.
We have, over the last couple of years, a lot of people have been coming together. There's been a lot of changes happening.
Right.
I think people are sort of becoming more aware of the way that we live and how it's impacting us, and like what's happening with COVID and things like. But I think like there's a positive in everything.
Yeah.
As long as you can find it, and sometimes they're a bit harder to find than others, but
yeah, there's
always something there that's going to be progressive from some time. Like, just going back to your thing I was just going to say about your reincarnation question, like earlier. I do personally believe in that.
Yeah.
And I think to see positives is like you can see people if they have, like, because I believe in karma as well, so karma and reincarnation connected together. So it's like a process of like allowing things to happen in life, because like things happen, and then allowing those things to but like not getting bogged down in those things. So like with COVID, we seem to have sort of moved past it in a way, but it's actually still quite pretty prevalent and relevant.
Yeah.
But I can sort of the way that I view COVID is sort of like it's a process. It's like a letting go process of a lot of these people who have passed away. It was maybe their time that they needed to pass away, and then now like there's more space. I guess there's more space and more room for other people new souls to be born. And then, like, that these souls can help us, you know. I believe that we're constantly going forward spiritually. So these new souls, like, not all of them, of course, but, you know, it's a very slow and long process. But
so it almost ties into, it sounds like evolution or something.
Yeah. So, and then that we're all just going to progressively become more spiritually aware, more unconditionally loving, more at peace, and we can create a world that's going to be a peaceful place for everybody. At the moment we don't have that because we have so much chaos like within our own selves, and that's like what's creating the chaos without ourselves. So I view the world like so. Have you heard the saying like so within as without? Or
I think I have. Yeah,
something along those lines.
Yeah.
So like the world is like a mirror to your internal state. So like the more that I've use the meditations and progress and become more peaceful and more loving, I can see that the other people have that within them. I just feel more at love, like more connected to like life itself, basically. I think that's what a lot of people are missing, and that's why we have a lot of mental health problems and issues in life.
Totally. There's heaps.
And then like the more that you can connect with something greater than yourself, the more that you have a chance of like getting yourself out of these depressed or anxious states, and you know, the techniques in pure meditation helps you to just understand like everything's going to be okay. Like I'm not really that worried about the COVID thing because, like I said, I just sort of have this faith or like have this knowledge or knowing within myself that I'll just follow and do the best in my path and try to help as many people to sort of find a way that they can find peace as well, because it's not always going to be about everyone's going to go to the centre. I mean, there's levels of everything for different people, and you know, some people might prefer Zen meditation or Buddhism or being a Christian and stuff, and they might not even be interested in meditation. Like I know you said you weren't really that interested in meditation before we started the podcast a few weeks ago. Maybe I changed your mind a bit now. I find it fascinating how all of this meshes together, and people have relationships, and we're able to sit down and have a conversation and you know, have opposing views or something like that, and still be able to talk about it. I'm really fascinated in watching culture, and like how I said, how there's a lot of scientists who are sort of stripping some of the spiritual practices and stuff. But I do see the influence of Eastern religion in our society, and indeed in the church quite a lot. And I suppose I'm probably not a fan of it because I see it. I'm a pretty old school conservative Christian where I kind of believe the Bible and just the Bible and stuff like that. So it's it can perhaps come across as quite restrictive or negative or something like that. I don't know, but I'm observing it all anyway, and I'm kind of like, this guy's into this, or this person's into this, or like you say, cognitive science is borrowing a little bit, or talking about the mental health issue and how that affects so many people. And like ultimately I see that people are still kind of searching, like they're still searching for answers and stuff like that. And I find that quite interesting as to where they look. And I think the two main questions is that I sort of find interesting is, one, like what's the problem? If people are able to identify the problem, and then what's the solution, and then their journey on that. Often mental health, man, it is. Often it's the past or it's the future that's really causing a lot of mental anguish. Either they're worried about what happened to them in the past, they're worried about what's going to happen in the future, and they kind of forget about the present. So, I mean, I certainly can see a lot of those crossovers.
but I suppose, personally, I perhaps have a different solution. But yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone just needs to sort of look at, find the right thing for themselves at the time.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting point. Because one of the things that I often wonder about, I sort of see life as a bit of a mathematical equation. I think when you die, I think there's just one reality. I think, everyone's going to be in the same position. Like, there's one answer. What's it going to be? And that's what I'm kind of like, is everyone going to be right? Or is a whole bunch of people going to be wrong? A whole bunch of people going to be right? And stuff like that. And, there's a final kind of answer. Are we all just going to, be compost? Or we're going to transcend to another plane? And what do you think, Milton?
Well, we're definitely going to be compost.
Yeah, body is compost for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, everyone agrees on that.
Yep, 100% pure organic, biodegradable, mate.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not organic, but 100% biodegradable.
I was just thinking about something from the Bible. Jesus says that there are many mansions in heaven. I also believe...
Or rooms, yep.
Many rooms, mansions, yep. I believe that when we pass... so you know how we're just saying about like everyone's on a different level in life, and like minds gather with other like minds.
Yeah.
So this is what I believe happens when you pass as well, is that you go to a different level or plane of existence, whereby you're at that level with all the same people that are there. So, for example, I don't know how you feel about me putting these people into the same category, but I see Jesus and like Buddha and like Krishna and these other people who are the leaders of these religions. So they're like self-realized masters, or like saints, or enlightened beings.
Right.
So they're like in this level where they're like one with God. And then so everyone else, we're like, this is like what we're working towards. Like, this is life's goal, is to like become these people. So then, like, as we're going further forward in our spiritual progress, then like when we pass, then we go to a sort of a plane of existence that's similar to the people that we think alike with those people.
I see.
So yeah, like
so you do believe in a if I was this, that would lead me to that path, or that sort of place. So there's kind of multiple realities making up a big reality.
Well, it's like a spiritual taxonomy.
Yeah.
So like someone who's maybe a little bit mentally ill, really negative, on drugs, just not taking responsibility, they're going to go to a miserable place.
I don't know if they'll be miserable, but
well, are they? I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, but I think they just go to the place that they need to go for their progress, basically.
Right.
So it's not like you're going there, like, I wouldn't say, so say someone who was like a murderer or something, they'd go to a place which is not very nice compared to like where maybe someone who, like for us, for example, would be.
So it's sort of fine dining versus...
maybe like...
McDonald's or something.
Maybe like somewhere where you're living in like a 3-star hotel and another person's living like in a basement in the dark or something like that, So... But it's all to do with like your progress, so it's all there to like help you to go forward. I view God as like benevolent, so it's like unconditional love is what God is. Love and light and peace and wisdom and truth. Like these are all the things that I ascribe to God. So if God is like that, He's not going to send you to burn in hell for 1,000 years. Years, He's going to send you somewhere, or like you're going to go somewhere whereby you can progress from that. In however way that may need to be.
Because we are only human, and we're pretty stupid. Do all sorts of
that's a traditional departure from the biblical view. That's interesting, because pluralism obviously can kind of mesh all of these ideas together, but when I look at the different religions, there's definitely contradictions and there's opposing views. There's black and there's white, and I say this and that, and there's different kind of directions. Well, which is it? Is it that one or is it that one? Was that person right or was this person right? Can they both be right? That's the question there, I suppose. And then.
Well, both of them believe that, right?
That's right. Yeah,
whoever wins the war, maybe they think they're the right ones.
Well, at times, that's what it has come down to in history, hasn't it? Who had the biggest
all
gun?
The time.
Or the biggest sword or something. Yeah.
Well, the winner of the war usually writes
writes
history, don't they? So
yeah.
I think that there is an objective truth to life, but I also think that there is so much that's subjective as well. Right. And like there's a truth, there's a truth for the moment, and then there are like eternal truths. There's like eternal truths of life, like spiritual laws in a way.
Yes.
And then so for karma, for example, is like you reap what you sow. So it's like action, reaction. That's what I believe anyway. Like anything that you do has opposite reaction, equal reaction, opposite and equal reaction. And then, so what you sow, you reap, basically.
Yeah.
So that's like the law of karma. And then there's but then there's also laws for the moment, for each moment. So, for example, something that's really good with intuitive counselling is that like two people could walk into the counselling room and have the exact same problem, but they might be taught something different, or they might, something different will happen because it's so individual. So those are the truths for like the people at the moment, but then there's underlying truths of like why certain things happen or like that sort of stuff.
That's proper teaching, like any good school system.
I think if you had
approaches pupils in two different ways, according to the personality.
Yeah. I agree, Milton. I think if two people had the same injury and they walked into a gym or an occupational therapist, they might have two different kind of solutions for them. Or
because the generalised panacea just doesn't work.
No,
a one size fits all.
Yeah.
So it's got to be individual, to the person.
Yeah.
And it's like trying not to, because it's supposed to be intuitive and like a spiritual counselling, it's more dealing like not with the person's ego, but trying to pull out their higher self, like that truer self that's within them, and sort of get that person to come to the fore and sort of help them to see or like understand what's happening with them in their life, and and then give them those tools again to help with that. Going through that and progressing.
So I noticed the connections with theosophy and Victorian spirituality, and they were all trying to do that, right? Finding the transcendental sort of true inner reality within us all.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's what most.
I guess that's the guts of it. Is it?
Yeah, basically, trying to find who you are and like what you're here for. Basically, that's my thoughts.
Yeah. But you feel like you've kind of found it, right?
Yeah. So then now it's a process of putting it all together and becoming professional and basically
living it. Essentially.
Yeah. Like I can see myself being a professional counsellor and healer, but it's a lifestyle. It's a certain lifestyle that you need to live.
Yeah.
And it's all about like coming to terms with the way that you feel that you need to live.
But you've still presumably got hobbies and you get out and you do stuff.
Yeah, I'm still interactive with people, and I still socialise, and I'm quite a social person.
What are some of your hobbies, Daniel? Mountain biking?
I've done a little bit of biking over the years, but not recently. It's fun. It's cool working at the bike shop though. I've enjoyed that, and it's actually given me lots of help with like just talking, conversing with people, and also like booking in appointments and all these sorts of things. So interesting about following your intuition. When I first was looking for a job, I was like, the bike shop, that'll be interesting, electric bikes, right around. Then I was also working in another place making furniture at the time.
Oh yeah.
That's actually quite a bit of a hobby of mine, like making things, but I don't really have the tools and the setup and stuff at home.
Right. Yeah.
But I like to be creative, and I do a bit of writing, so I've written a few like essays or articles, and I actually started writing a novel. I've got one chapter done so far. So
sweet. Do you have any hero?
Wow. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. Just I think like it's really important to find a way that you can relax well, but also find something that's creative, and then other things that you enjoy. So I like going out walking as well, and doing day walks and things like that. So
getting out in nature.
I love the fact you're hands-on. Was it saying you've got to go through the world, not try and run away from it?
Yeah.
I've noticed with some, like a little spiritual trek, people seem to get real disconnected.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Sort of floating around somewhere.
Yeah, become a bit floaty.
Yeah.
Some of those monasteries and things are classic examples of that, where they really... There was one person I was reading about on the internet that they think had never seen a woman. Is like his mother died when he was a baby and grew up in a monastery. Sorry, this is a bit of a left field. But some of those monasteries, they think that they're doing something good. They're all getting away from everything, all of the problems and evils of the world, and then they turn to custard.
I can understand why they think that, and it just doesn't sort of go anywhere. I think.
Yeah, that's what Major Yogananda as well says. Like, we make more progress being in life. So obviously some people like the ascetic life where they're living in a cave and stuff. Like, maybe that's what they need. But a lot of us will make more progress, like, being around and inside, like, where the challenges are, because then that's like what will strengthen us up and make us stronger and better people to do that. As long as we just make sure that we don't, like, we still have an open heart and are, like, loving and caring for other people, and that we don't have, like, a big steel shield in front of us where we, like, just bashing everyone out of the way,
True. Yeah.
So it's like about going through those hard, complicated times, but still being caring and loving for yourself and for other people.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I like the idea of Siva. It's talking about doing service, whether it's like painting a house or just helping someone out, but in doing it with, like, no expectations, just doing it for helping, rather than going, I'm doing this because it's a tick in the box for God for me, and so I'm doing it for a selfish purpose. Yeah. But this Siva doesn't mean that. It's been quite very unselfish. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's great to just give freely. Like, that's one of the greatest joys of life, is to be able to give things. But time is more important. And to be able to give your time to something or a cause that you believe in, and something that you believe in, and that really makes you happy. I think that's amazing. And that if more people could find that space within themselves where they could give freely a bit more, they would actually find maybe a bit more joy in life, because it really helps you to, like, feel good about yourself.
And I could see how it would help you get out of your, like, a stress state. If I'm, like, in a stress state, and if I'm giving, then I've moved out of that stress state, and I'm probably in a more relaxed state, and it's got that cognitive feedback into
positive feedback,
feedback of our body and so forth, right?
Definitely, yeah.
But sometimes it's just so hard to get out of that negative state.
Yeah, and that's like where the great thing about these tools, like the tools and techniques that are at the centre, are they're so powerful that they can help you to really progress. But obviously you need your willpower and things as well, but, to help you with that. And then, like, faith plays a part as well. So just to know that you're being helped along things. But yeah, creating positive feedback loops is very important, I think. Yeah. To look after your mental health.
So basically, there's someone like the guru or the ascended masters who are, like, showing you the way. They've got the toolbox.
Well, you learn the tools, in a way, yes, but, like, you learn the tools, so it's like you're the one that's doing this stuff. So it's all about, like, your intention. So the intention behind something is probably one of the most important things, because that's, like, the energy that you're giving into it. So, if you're baking a cake, for example, and you're putting heaps of love into it, then it's probably going to taste better than if you're really angry and grumpy and you're making this cake and you're just, like, swearing at it and stuff. So, like, the intention is behind everything is really important. So when you sit down to use a tool, then that intention is there, so that's going to help you to go forward as well. But I do believe, throughout the past, people have said that they've seen Jesus, for example. I do believe that it's possible that all these things can happen, and that we are being helped. Everyone is being helped by these enlightened souls that basically want us to feel what they feel and to know what they know, and the way that they can do that is to help through sending positive vibrations and love and all those things, and that's what's happening as well. Like when you're doing these tools, I don't know what is happening because it's so deep, and like I believe like there's all these planes of existence and they all overlap each other, and all these things are happening all at once, but we can only see and feel such a limited view of things. I think there's not much. It's not really for us to know what's happening. It's more for us to go in faith with, using the tools, and then going in faith with that, and having faith and cultivating that faith, and that there's a power greater than you that's actually looking after life and looking after yourself, and these great enlightened souls are playing a part in that.
Oh. Yeah, that's really clear. It's really well described.
Thank you. Yeah, I was trying to figure that out, but
yeah.
Daniel's going to have the granola. I can read his mind.
Oh, is that right, Dan?
Yes, please.
Yeah, bit of granola.
So you're a vegan, right? And that's kind of part of it.
Vegan.
Yeah, but that's obviously you don't want to kill animals and stuff.
Not 100%. Maybe you like the eggs. The 3 eggs or something.
I don't mind a cake and a slice and a
bit of chocolate. Bit of butter or something. Yeah.
A bit of cheese on a pizza is pretty good, but...
Oh, yeah. Oh, cool. What's your favourite vegan recipe at the moment? Or meal?
My specialty that I cook is like a jackfruit.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Nice. Like with chipotle sauce and like some liquid smoke, and I don't know, a bit of corn and jalapenos and spicy tomatoes and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's neat how jackfruit sort of jumped in the game not long ago.
Yeah, and banana blossom as well. Have you guys tried that?
No, I haven't.
That's pretty cool. That's like the flower, where the bananas hang, and then it's got that hangs down. It's got like a flower in it. It's like the flesh of the flower. It's similar-ish to jackfruit. But it's kind of like a vegan fish alternative where you can like crumb it, and then it sort of has that fishy texture. Yeah, which is really nice as well.
How the heck do you go about getting banana blossom?
That's in a can as well, so it should be next to the jackfruit in the supermarket.
Wow. Yeah. I'll keep an eye
try that out.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Sweet. Thanks Dan, for coming in and telling us a little bit more about what you're into.
That's all right. Can I just say one thing about...
go for it.
If anyone is interested in the Silverlight Centre...
Yeah, I'll put the links... Yeah,
cool. Yeah, put the links up.
But continue to say what you're going to say.
Feel free to contact them. You can go to sevalight.org as well, which is like the website for the worldwide organisation. And then, feel free to give them a ring if you want to know more about healing, counselling, or pure meditation. There's also a Sevalight podcast, which I have hosted like 5 or 6 episodes, which is on Spotify, iTunes, and all the rest. So if you're interested, you can listen to that. It's called the Sevalight. The Sevalight Lightworkers podcast. Yeah. So that's on Spotify and stuff. So Seva is spelled SEVA. So Sevalight.org is the website for the.
I'll see if I can track down those links, or you can send them to me, and I'll put them in the description. Yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for having me, bro.
No worries,
man. Thanks for coming in.
It's been great. It's been great talking to you. So.
Cheers, Dan.
Cool. Cheers, mate.